Morning, everyone. Big GT fan here. I'm back after a long break. Had Christmas and then COVID, and then I ended up getting that. And then my mate turned up. He haven't seen him for about a year or so. So, you know, um, catching up with him and stuff. So I thought I'd give this a rest for a bit. But now I'm back. So today we're going to get into the A9X Torana. Now this Torana, it actually come in 1974. This was the takeover from the XU1 Torana in 1970 after 1973. Repco actually built the engines for these cars for racing. The L34, it didn't really have any significance to racing at Bathurst, as it had a lot of problems. The engine was built from Repco, so it wasn't built from the workshops. So it was actually sent to them and built by Repco themselves. The differentials had big problems as well. Snapping axles, gearboxes had like tiny little splines and stuff, and then you had the problems like Peter Brock. With the racing, he said the L34 Torana, it had massive problems of burning out valves and stuff because they couldn't get the mixture right with the 308 and the new carby setup on the rest of the racing models. But on the car models, they were fine, cruise around town. But for racing, they were an absolute garbage, I may as well say. But I'm not letting the Holden down. But this car. Then in 1975, Brock won with an L34 Torana that was upgraded to the A9X in 1975. And then 1977 is where he started getting back with Holden. And then for the 1978 season, he actually went back to Holden after he couldn't find a ride. He lost after walking out on him, and after in 1975, because he married Miss Australia back then, and we all know what happened about that. But no, then the A9X came out in 1978, and this car, Brocky knew that when he saw the engine on the stand, and he said to Tom Shepherd, or John Shepherd, he said to him, that engine's mine, Sheppo. And he goes, yes, Brocky, it is yours engine, but how did you know it was yours? He goes, because I'm going to win this race in 1976. Oh, sorry, 1978. And so then what happened when the A9X, done the race, and then in the last lap, he tried beating the lap record, but was slowed down by a Mazda, a slower vehicle. And then in 1978, not 1978, no, in 1979, he actually started the race in first place, and then he led the whole race, won by 6 laps, and then it literally smashed the lap record on the last lap. So this car, it really has significance in Australian motor racing history. But for road use, they were really good. They were a really good car, super reliable. The old 308 engine there. Did have a stronger diff. I think in 1975 they actually upgraded the banjo diff to the 10 bolt Salisbury shortened, and they had the revised coil suspension, radial tune suspension, that like the HZ had, and the A9X has got a few more upgrades, like the revised carburetor manifold, high riser manifold, and it had a lot of stuff carried over from the L34, except for it didn't have the same problems as the L34. See, the L34 was weak because it had the L34. It had a diff that was like a EJ Holden. So when with the L34s, you had to be really careful with them. Like you had to learn a terminology called what do I call it? Car sympathy. So you couldn't push the car too far. Like you had to be real kind with the brakes. You had to be real kind with the real light on the gearbox, real light with the diff, and oil surging was a massive problem with the L34s. And then they revised all this with this car, and this car was a top car. It dominated in 78 and 79. And I think like Jim Richards, he was really good with the car as well. Brocky didn't have to warn him about being gentle with it or whatever. He just respect the car, do what you need to do, let's win this race. So, but anyway, with this car here, it changed the face of motor racing. And then after 79, 1980, Dick Johnson, he actually took over from there and won for the next 2 years after hitting the rock in 1980. So after Torana, but this was the last hurrah for the Torana. Then we went into the UC, which I personally I like the UC, but the UC was just using the bodies up in 1980. They used the hatchbacks for the UC, and all it was an upgraded front and revised tail lights, but it was really toned down. It was really toned down. Let's get rid of the bodies. Let's get into the Commodore era. So really, the Commodore took over from the Torana for the nimble car in racing. As 1979, Brock. He really liked the Commodore because the Commodore was nimble, like the Torana, same, sort of like the same size, really maneuverable, really reliable. And that's when the racing went into the Commodore era, and then he went to HDT, HDT and stuff like that. He owned HDT for a while, and then that's another story. But yeah, to say that this car, it holds up for its time. It's still a nice looking vehicle with nice lines. Great power still. Like I went for a cruise in one about 5 years ago with a mate, and he said to me, he goes, he said to me about, did I like the Toranas? I said, yeah, I do love the Toranas, because Holden actually got it right with this car. And to my opinion, like, I'm a Ford man, these looked better than those hard tops. These look better than those two doors on the racetrack. But so I still love a two door hardtop, XB, XA and stuff like that. But yeah, these were a one step ahead. They weren't heavy, they weren't they weren't big heavy vehicles with big engines, and the braking, which solved a lot of with the braking issues. Reliability, because Alan Moffat, he was struggling with his hard tops. He was having piston failures, brake failures. In 1977, I remember with Alan Moffat, he actually had a problem with the XC in 1977. He actually drove that car the whole race with no brakes. The pedal was on the floor at the start line, and he was pumping it, and it come back, and it was only back for about 2 laps, and then after that he drove the whole race with no brakes. And that's that famous one too that you see with Colin Bond and him driving down Conrod Straight with the 1-2 finish, where Colin Bond let him past it at the end and went through. But yeah, but the Torana, it held up really good. It done its job for the time, and then the Commodore took over from there. But yeah, now we look back and we think about these cars, how they were for the road. They were really good, economical on fuel, and you could actually go camping in the back of these hatches. They actually had a hutch tent that used to go on the back of they go on the back of the tailgate, and they'd fold down, and it'd be a tent. You fold back seats down, and you could literally sleep in the thing. But that's the marketing that Holden had up their sleeve. Like, it was really, really good. That, so it was a car, and then you had the SS and stuff like that, the SS Torana, and then literally if you had to go somewhere to sleep, you could literally sleep in the back of it, which was really good. But it had a lot of cues from the radial tune suspension from the HZ. It had the brake boosters, and just they were just made out of a lot of leftover parts from the the HQ, HJ, HX, HZ era. These vehicles. So yeah, a lot of similarities. The seats were actually from a HZ Holden, just a bit thinner. But other than that, yeah, really good car overall. So I hope you like this interview. I hope you like this review. Sorry, I've got to get back into it. I'm a bit off at the moment, but I'll get back into doing more videos with you, and hopefully you enjoy more of my content, because I've missed it. But family's first. We all know that. But I hope you did like this review, and I shall get back into it. Hopefully we can get to more car shows and stuff this year too. So, and other stuff, but of course stickers. I'm gonna try and get stickers this year made up. And so if you are interested in a sticker when I do get them, we'll sort all that out on a later date. But I hope you did like this, and yeah, I'm off, and I shall talk to you next time. I'm going to do another review, maybe a Falcon next time, or another Holden. The guys, I'm doing mostly Ford stuff. I probably will do another Holden, probably something better, or nothing's better than a Torana, trust me. So but yeah, we'll work it out, and I shall get back to you later. Anyway, big GT fan out.